Let's start this video with the test. So what are we going to test here is our actual mental calculation skill right here, right now, before we dive into like how to improve it and why it's even needed in the first place. But let's just first test it. So how are we going to do this? On the screen, you can see a website open. It's a mental arithmetic simulator. Basically, it will give us seven numbers that will appear in a sequence. The range of numbers is going to be from 0 to 20. And the whole point would be either to add or subtract them. It's going to be quite fast-paced exercise, so pay attention. The goal here is to do it in your mind, to do this calculation. Don't take notes, don't do anything, just try to follow, do it with me. And yeah, let's check the results. Let's go. Okay, and the answer is 20. Yep, correct. How was it? Did you get it? If you did, congratulations, you're already much better than I was when I started. If not, perfectly fine. Let's break this down. Let's dive in. Let's see how we can improve the skill, because I do think the skill is quite important in the adult life. Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, Mind Stretching here. So mental calculations, right? I feel like this is a skill that I personally have been ignoring in school, and as an adult I dropped it completely, simply because it's so convenient, right? We have computers, we have phones, iPads, whatever, so many gadgets to help us to do this thing that theoretically we should be able to do with ourselves without no gadgets needed, right? So it made me quite upset, the idea that I cannot even put two simple numbers together. It takes me a very long time to process a very simple equation. So I asked myself, okay, how can I improve, right? And this is where it all started. So I have found a method, guys, and let me tell you all about it. Okay, so the method that I found is called finger math or finger mathematics, or basically you use your fingers to do simple calculations. But because this method is quite flexible, you can actually add quite big numbers and you are able to do it faster too. Let me explain how. Okay, this method is actually quite straightforward. This is why I like it so much. To calculate or to show single digits, you use your right hand. And for double-digit numbers, you use your left hand. So when you want to show 1, this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. This is going to be 5, not this, this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay? So this is from 1 to 9. Now, if you want to show 10, you use your left hand. This is 10, right? 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. So using this method, if we have a very simple number, you have 4, you use 4. You have 7, 7. If you have 13, this is 10, this is 3. If you have 27, 20, and then 7 will be 5, 6, 7. This is 27. 53, 53. 98, 90. This is 9, so 90. And 8. This is always a little bit awkward for me because I cannot unbend this finger properly, but this is 98, right? So as you can see, this method is quite straightforward. Similarly, if you want to add numbers like 12 plus 5, right? You show 12, this is 12, 10 and 2, 12, plus 5, that's going to be 17, this is 17, right? You want to add 53 plus 17, right? So you have 53 plus 17 as going to be 70, right? This is your answer. Okay, so why does this method is useful when it comes to improving your mental calculations and improving the speed of mental calculation, right? So going back to the task that we did in the beginning of the video, right? We were presented with a sequence of numbers that were changing quite quickly, and we had to either add or subtract them and then give a sum, give a final result without making any notes. So everything is happening in our head. Now, the problem is that when we are doing this, so we add the first two numbers. Then what happens is that our brain needs to remember the sum of the first equation before moving to the second equation, so adding a second number. And then we need to remember that number and then move on to the next set of equation, right? So it's like, it's an additional mental effort to remember what number came before in order to be able to add or subtract the next one. So what this method using fingers, what is it doing is that you don't need to remember the number that came before because you already have it here. So for instance, you don't need to remember that the result of the previous equation was 27. You already have it here. So then when they say subtract 5, it's 22. And then you can immediately move into the next equation, because again, you already have a number here. You don't need to remember it. So it really speeds up that process. Let me show you what I mean when we actually do the test. Let's try it a couple of times. Okay, so I promised to show how this method, finger mathematics, how can it help performing these mental calculations, and how can it help it to perform it faster, right? So let's go back to the test that we did in the beginning of this video. I am going to set it at, like, change the settings. Let's start easy, let's start simple, because I want us to go through this using the method. So the range is going to be from 0 to 10. Again, we're just going to either add or subtract numbers. In terms of time, we can regulate it also, the time between the numbers. Let's set it at 3. And again, 7 numbers in total that are going to appear. I think that's sufficient for now. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to go through the test and I'm going to show you using finger mathematics how I perform these calculations. Let's do this. So 0 plus 2 plus 2, 4 plus 6, 10 plus 4, 14 minus 4, 10 minus 7, 3, and the answer is 3. Let's do this again, just to practice. Because again, until you kind of get familiarized with all this, like which finger represents which number, it might get a little bit confusing. So I want to show you a little bit more. Here we go. 7 plus 10, 17 plus 9, 26 minus 7, 19 plus 0, 28 minus 0. The answer is 28. So you see, it's the method itself is not very complicated. If we go back to the initial settings, right? So we set a timer. It gives us more time between, like, when the next number is going to appear, right? The more comfortable you feel performing this task, the faster you can go, right? When doing these calculations. I mean, if you just go on YouTube and search for people who are using this method, who are proficient in it, and how fast they can do it, how how complex calculations they can do, you start seeing the value of this method. Let's do another round. This time, because let's increase the range of numbers that we're using to show that you can, you can make it a little bit more complicated. So let's just go up to 20, that's fine. Again, we'll have more time. There's enough time between the numbers to perform the calculation, so let's do this. Okay. 19. Plus 4, 23. Plus 12, 35. Minus 10, 25. Plus 18. Minus 8. Plus 13. 48. Okay, guys, this is the method that I wanted to show you. I hope you found it interesting, or at least you were able to test your mental calculation abilities. Maybe you were disappointed in them, the same way that I was disappointed in myself when I tried to do it. But you know, it's a good skill. Honestly, it's a good skill, even with all the gadgets and everything that we have. Being able to perform those kind of calculations in your mind is useful. It helps to train your focus. It helps you to retain information. It trains your brain ultimately. So all of these are quite useful skills to work on. Whether or not you decide to use this particular method, finger mathematics, to help you to improve, right? It's just one of the methods, right? There are a lot of other methods out there. But do tell me what you think. If you have tried it, what are your results? Did you like it? Did you find it useful? Or maybe actually trying to remember all the what you need to do with your fingers was actually adding mental effort, that it made me things even more complicated trying to use this method to make calculations. It honestly did for me at first, before it became automatic. Like my brain understood which fingers, how quickly to switch between fingers, and then it became easier. Until you kind of train to use your fingers to do this, to do mental calculations, it will actually slow you down, ironically. So, but once you feel comfortable with switching and showing numbers using your hands, you will see an improvement. At least I did. So yeah. Okay, guys, if you like this video, like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell me what you think, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.